Welcome to the first Christmas special of Read the Book First.
And I'm here just because I have the most Christmas spirit of anyone you've ever met.
Isaac's number one trait is that he loves Christmas. Quick, what are your favorite three things about Christmas?
That I have an excuse to watch Elf again. Big present guy.
We love it. We love a treat.
In
this household, we love treats.
And a third, I don't know. I ran out at two. That's all I got. Actually, honestly, it's shout out to your mom. It's that coffee enhancer that's just like it's like chocolate and chili
and cinnamon
mix. Incredible. Big fan. I like Christmas flavored things and like specifically Christmas. Winter themed things I like.
If you couldn't tell, Isaac is here for the Christmas special.
Hi, everybody.
Because we happen to live in the same house and I could be like, hey, we're doing this. And he's like, I guess we're doing this.
I was the most ropeable.
Yeah. For the first ever Christmas special, we're going to be talking about the book and the movie, The Polar Express. I don't know about you, but I have a really deep memory of this book.
It was definitely a part of my childhood. That was like, I remember reading this book frequently when I was a little guy. Partially for Christmas. I think partially because we weren't allowed to go play video games on the weekends until 8 a.m. And we just read through our stack of like little comic books and short books and other books when we'd wake up in the morning to go read it. And for some reason, Polar Express was in there. And so that was my connection to Polar Express.
I believe it was either my kindergarten or first grade year. Shout out to the librarian who worked at my elementary school. She was great. I remember we were sitting down specifically. Okay, we're sitting down for circle time, right, in the library. And it's like they read books, and it's usually seasonal. There's a craft that goes with it. And as you grow up, you learn about the Dewey Decimal System, etc. Can you tell that I loved when we went to the library? Does that check out for now having a bookish podcast? Anyways, I remember her sitting down and showing us the Polar Express. It is probably right before the movie came out, I'm assuming, while she was showing it, because this book was published in 1985. So, like, there was a big distance of time. I thought in my head that I assumed it was like a late 90s book that got made into a movie early 2000s. So I assumed. But
yeah, I guess I kind of thought similarly. But I think that's part of the whole, like, you know, when you're a kid, you're like, well, nothing
existed before me.
There was, like, the Beatles...
the Civil War, and
George Washington crossed Delaware.
Yeah, that happened before me. Some other stuff, then me.
Yeah,
most importantly, me. Anyways, I remember her sitting her down, and it wasn't like just her talking about like the Polar Express and Christmas books, etc. It was her talking about books that have stickers on them, award stickers. And it was like it was specifically the first time I'd ever understood that they're like you can get an award for writing or illustrating a book. And at this point in my life, again, kindergarten, first grade, anyone asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I would say Jan Brett, the illustrator, author of children's books that I deeply love still to this day. But I'm not that good of an illustrator. But that is what I was obsessed with when I was that age. And so I just like distinctly, whenever I see like book award stickers, no matter silver, gold, bronze ones, I just think of the Polar Express and I think of being taught that. So that is my like deep memory to the Polar Express. The book itself, honestly, I know like, before rereading this, you know, like I didn't have like, it wasn't my favorite book as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's a picture book. So I wasn't like, oh yes, this is really the, my love of books is beginning here or anything like that. But I remember liking it when I was a kid.
Yeah. It was definitely like one of the ones that often was read during the holidays. The Polar Express, published in 1985, written by Chris Van Allsburg, is a Christmas classic. We've all seen the Tom Hanks movie a billion times, which we'll talk about later.
There's been some good memes about it recently.
And the memes all go all the way back to this is the roots of the memes, even though the book has not been memed, but the adaptation has been memed. Anyways, it starts off with a little boy. The narrator is like this character as an adult being like, it was a Christmas Eve night, and my friend had said Santa's not real, and I was like, bitch, you're wrong.
Well, if you notice the hair, this is what the story's about, tells like the entire story in like 2 paragraphs.
Oh, the little summary
The little
in the
summary.
book.
It's not just a summary. Yeah, it is actually
Sleeve.
like a full summary of pretty much everything that happens. And
I
it's-
mean, I will say there's one thing about this book is that there really isn't much of a plot. Isaac, have you read many picture books in the last decade?
do figures and like scientific
No, that's not a
journals
picture
count?
book.
Okay. Sometimes I read those like they're picture books, though. No, not really.
So, picture books, there's some really great picture books right now. Sometimes I go to the library and I go and peruse them. They're very fun. In another world, I am a picture book illustrator.
Trying to jump up those books read per year numbers.
Hey, a lot of parents do that, and that's fine. They're reading with their children, and reading with children is important.
Yeah, why don't you ever read with Nori? She could use the.
I do read with Nori. She sits next to me as I read.
Okay. That's
Also,
fair.
she's a dog.
She could use the intellectual enrichment.
Hey, our dog is very smart. She knows 3 tricks. Anyways, I will say this book, like story structure wise, not as great. But also, like, I've seen the Polar Express, the movie, a lot in the last 10 years because when I was teaching, it was a classic movie that kids would want to watch during the holidays, during lunchtime. And I'm like, yes, we could watch 15 minutes of the Polar Express. That is fine. So I've seen the movie a lot in the last 15 years. I've not read this book since I was a literal child. And so rereading this, I was surprised about how little there is there.
Yeah.
As a story, right? Like I said, this kid that begins, he's like, hey, my friend said there's no Santa. And I was like, no, there's a Santa. And then I heard a train outside, and there was a train outside.
And then we got on the train, and then it went to the North Pole.
Well, wait, what happens on the train? It's really important. They get on the train.
They get some bomb-ass hot chocolate.
They get hot chocolate, but not just hot chocolate. They also get candies with nougat centers, white as snow, a simile.
Ooh.
Yeah, literature. And then they also sang Christmas carols.
Also, they did talk about... where was it? It's not yet. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, so they're on the train. There's a bunch of kids in pajamas. Question. Are these people on the train kidnapping dozens of children?
See, that's what I was saying. It's like, you couldn't make this book today. Parents would be like, they're encouraging our children to get kidnapped by train people.
Do these kids have no stranger danger? They just get on a strange train. Also, just background, this book is set in the author's hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan. To my knowledge, there's not many trains outside the East Coast as far, like, for people, right? Like, as the further you go west, there's less people trains and just cargo trains, right? I'm sure, yeah. I don't know about the train system in Michigan. I'm not an expert, but I don't think every child and their parents have gone through that experience of getting on a train. So these kids are just hopping on this train with no stranger danger. Is there like some sort of the spell of Christmas or something? Like,
also, wasn't this during the era of like crazy stranger danger? People were
in
like,
the 80s? Yeah. The late 80s, like they're like there's gonna be razor blades in the apples or something like that. Yeah.
And the chocolates.
So how are these kids getting? That's the question I have about this book: is how do the kids get on this train?
Walk.
And then they're going through the woods, and they left the city lights, and then there's like wolves around.
Yes, but here's the thing: the wolves are apparently lean, so apparently the wolves aren't doing so hot, which is clearly a commentary on wolf management in the United States, especially in Michigan. They had just been reintroduced up in Isle Royal, but clearly
In the 80s?
Actually, I don't know if it was 80s. It might have been late 90s, early 2000s. But there's a whole thing with wolf reintroduction. I wasn't thinking about this when I was making my wolf jokes, but now it's just running into this. So they need to do, you know what? The management needs to be done better.
Are you commenting on the wolves' leanness? It does say lean wolves. Yeah. You're right. I was like, I didn't remember that detail. So is that supposed to, then... Here's my question about the wolves. Like, in the movie, I understand the point of the wolves. In the book... I
don't remember that at all.
Well, we're about to watch it in a few minutes. But in this book, what's the point of this wolf scene? Is that the author just wanted to draw this cool picture of the wolves in the train? Because honestly, cool picture.
That really checks out. I feel like this is the like, yeah, I've got my wolf shirt, like my wolves howling at the moon shirt. And I think wolves are really cool, and so I'm gonna put wolves in.
Every kid loves wolves and trains.
Just kids.
Polar Express. And then they go up a mountain. I really like this one.
Yeah, this is kind of gave me a whole very short thought tangent, but like, is Snowpiercer a Christmas movie?
Okay, a Christmas movie. So there's Christmas movies and there's non-Christmas Christmas movies.
Yeah.
To me, Christmas movies, Christmas has to be a part of the plot. Or something Christmas related has to be a part of the plot, whether that be Santa, elves, cheer, whatever. But a non-Christmas Christmas movie is movies that take place during Christmas or are like wintry vibes, like the Chronicles of Narnia. Santa's in it, but like it's not about him. So therefore, not a Christmas movie, but it's still a Christmas movie.
It's not about him.
It's not about him.
It's about Mr. Dumbness.
Hell yes, it is. But also like, so like Die Hard to me is a non-Christmas Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Like it's a movie you watch seasonally during Christmas times, but it's not a Christmas movie.
I feel you. I think. Have you ever seen Snowpiercer?
No, I have not.
Okay.
It's the train that goes in the snow.
Yeah, it doesn't have. That's really it. The vibes are not.
So I guess you could say it is a non-Christmas Christmas movie.
That's what when I saw the they're not page numbers for people keep on longing home.
It's the one with the mountain.
I did like that piece. That was one of my.
It's really pretty. That's one of my favorite pictures. Yes, I was rereading this and I was like, "There's nothing happens on this train besides that one bit about them eating candy and hot chocolate and singing Christmas carols."
Yeah,
and that's a bummer for me for a book called The Polar Express. Not enough train action.
I do think the following is my favorite illustration.
Yeah, they're going over like bridges / arches. It is really pretty. It is giving that one train section in Scotland that they filmed the Hogwarts Express. Yeah. It is giving that, but it is very aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, so they get to the North Pole. There's just a shit ton of factories in the North Pole, but they're empty currently because the elves are all celebrating with Santa for the first gift of Christmas. And this is our first like actual plot point besides the kids like, whoa, train.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so now our world is getting bigger. Do we blame the elves for global warming? And by the elves, I mean Santa, really, because the elves are working for Santa, assuming they're getting paid in this situation. We're going to assume to make it light and not dark.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure they're contributing. The thing I was like, when I was coming up to this page we are on now, where you can actually see the elves working on the big old sleigh, I was like, okay, are they going to be little dinky Christmas elves? Or are they going to be like Lord of the Rings types of elven elves? And the answer is they're kind of the middle of the road, which is terrible. They look like so nondescript.
They just look
the most, like,
they're just like shorter than Santa. Yeah, there's like some guy from down the street that is shorter than Santa, but not necessarily like short. Like, yeah. I think illustratively it's okay because it matches the vibe of all the other people where no one really has a distinct look except for the main character. Everyone else is kind of the same face as you go through, right? The illustrations in this book, I think that shine are the like scenic illustrations, right? The ones with people, like the scene in the car when they're drinking hot chocolate. I don't care. It's a car, right? All the elves and now this Polar Express and the kids they've kidnapped are waiting for Santa to give the first gift of Christmas. And one of the kids on the Polar Express is going to get this gift of Christmas. A plot point that would have been more interesting earlier in the book.
If there was foreshadowing.
Because guess what?
If he was thinking about what he wanted to get.
On the next page, he gets the gift. So we find out about this situation and then it's solved the next page.
Unless you read the little thing on the
cover sleeve.
The cover sleeve where it just tells you the entire plot in like 3 sentences. But yes, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
The boy is chosen out of the blue from Santa, like, I choose you, says Santa. And he asks Santa for a sleigh bell because as they're walking up to the Santa sleigh, he describes the sleigh bells and he's like, oh, it's the joy of Christmas, right? Yeah. And that's what he gets, which like metaphorically, not a bad gift.
Yeah.
But
You know that kid's so annoying and so smarmy. If he's like, I want a bell. I want the bell. I'm above everything else. Or it's an indictment of the toy industry and all that in 1985.
yes, so like the like anti-capitalistic view of this, great gift choice.
Yeah.
Just a random kid who ran away from home on this train. You know that kid's asking for like, I don't know, what was cool in 85? A fucking skateboard? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
The newest, Metallica?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
This kid is not cool enough to listen to Metallica.
Oh,
at,
absolutely
like,
not.
8
He's
years
excited
old.
about some fucking bells.
Actually, okay. I mean, for whom the bell tolls, much better choice than good Metallica jokes. Okay,
The reindeer.
the reindeer
are
are serving a little bit.
the reindeer. I fear the reindeer are cunty.
Yeah,
Yeah. But they're also, again, identical. Whenever you look at the faces of the illustrations are almost the same on every person. And then here, both the reindeer look the same. Unless they are twins.
illustrators dear racist.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my one thing about his illustrations in this book. Is like the people are too similar.
They're fine. There's a certain, I would say, generally, like it's not like, wow, this is really super well done or super technical or really interesting. But there's a vibe that comes
The
off.
vibe is good.
Yes, exactly.
The vibe is calming, and we'll say like the
Comfy,
framing of each picture is very cinematic itself. Like obviously he's a very talented illustrator. I want that clear.
Yeah.
I whenever I like look too closely at the people's faces, his impression in my head, it goes down a little bit. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like it goes from being like, whoa, to being like, all right.
Yeah.
You know? But Santa takes off because he's a working man once a week. Or sorry, once a year. Do I know Santa? I wasn't allowed to let's believe in Santa. I don't know Santa.
We're like Senta, am I right?
So he puts a silver bell in his robe pocket. Also, he was wearing his robes and his slippers at the very beginning, and that reminded me of you.
That's fair. Except this next part
Aesthetically?
never would happen to me.
Isaac,
Aesthetically, sure. Yeah.
you would absolutely have a hole in your robe pocket and forget about it.
Okay. Let it be known that I've done like 9 field seasons,
Yes.
and I've like never lost equipment permanently.
Okay, remember that one time when you left your raincoat and then a full year later went back to that campsite and found that
It
raincoat?
was a fleece. It was fine. It wasn't important equipment. And that doesn't fit in a pocket.
Fair enough. I just want to say this like
That's true.
aesthetic
That is
of
true,
what
yeah.
this kid is wearing is giving Isaac.
It's grandpa core.
Grandpa core, yes. But he gets back on the train and the kids are like, OMG, you're so popular. You got the first gift. And he's like, yeah, I did. I'm going to share it with you guys. And there's a hole in his pocket. And he's very sad. But look at these kids' faces. Don't they almost all look the same? Or it might be dramatic.
I don't like their faces.
I don't like their faces.
It's weird. This kid looks like he's about to eat the other children.
I just don't like the faces.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's the author's strong suit. Or the illustrator's strong suit.
Yep.
Same person. But I think, again, the other pictures, gorgeous. The balance is not there for me. Anyways, they're on the train going home. And they drop him off.
I do like this
Again,
picture. I do like this one too.
yes, but guess what? The face is not... You don't see his
Yep.
face at all. It's the back
Nope.
of his head.
Wide shots.
Wide shots. Again, there's nothing on the train. We finally got a plot point. There's no looking for the bell. Just, it's gone. And so he's sad, and he goes to bed after his adventure to the North Pole. And then the next day it's Christmas. We also, the narrator / this kid, the chosen one, nameless, but his sister's name is Sarah. And she's on one page, and we know her name. Again, I'm being very nitpicky about this really excellent, well-renowned book, but weird.
I think there's just children have standards that are too low. We need to increase the standards
Also,
of children.
look at this fucking clown that's sitting on the armchair.
It's me.
What?
It's Ginger. That was good.
It's scary. You're not scary. They're opening Christmas presents, and Sarah's like, hey, there's a little box back there, and there's a note that says, found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C. And they open it, and it's the sleigh bell. And they ring it, and their parents are like, weird, it doesn't work. but him and his
But
sister,
the kids are special because they believe.
they believe, and they can hear it. But then as they grow up, Sarah and his friends can't hear it, but he always hears it.
No allegories.
The end. And like,
That's it. It's over.
I think, again, like we've been saying, the like scenic pictures, this book, the cozy vibes are a 10. Love the cozy vibes. Kids love trains. Christmas, nostalgia, warm and fuzzy. Like there's a fuzziness to the illustration in a good way.
Yeah.
I just think story-wise, the story could be stronger. I think the faces of all the kids creep me out.
Yeah.
And I need more information about the elves situation.
Yeah. There was like a lot of elves.
Yeah, a lot of elves. It's a huge city full of factories. They're responsible for global warming. Yeah, what are your last little thoughts before I go into some fun facts?
I don't know. It was my first time reading like a children's picture book in like, I don't know, like 20 years, which is crazy to think about. I'm old. Life is fleeting. I'm gonna go get a little bell and ring it. Just not a lot. I think honestly, it was just not a lot of thoughts. It was just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want some fun facts?
I feel like I'm gonna get fun facts regardless if I want them or not.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
So this book won the Caldecott Medal in 1986, and that's an award given to the most distinguished American picture book for children. The author has also won this before this book with his other very famous picture book, Jumanji.
Wow.
He also wrote the picture book Zathura.
Oh, yeah, that's the other.
That's the other.
Yeah,
It's a picture book. Yeah, and then he had another book become a finalist for the award later on in his career, but it didn't win. So, but it's pretty impressive. Train facts. The train is based off, and but there's French.
Train
Sorry
girl.
to all my fans in France. The train in the book is based on the Pierre Marguerite, I don't know, the 1225. That's Christmas Day. Did you know that? 1225.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. Which is a 284 Berkshire N1 class. I don't know what those mean. The author was inspired to write this book by a mental image of a child wandering into the woods on a foggy night and wondering where a train was headed. And honestly, that being the inspiration to this book makes sense.
I hope the wolves around that child were not so lean and they were being taken care of and they had enough food to be nice and happy wolves.
Yeah, they could go up to the North Pole. There's a lot of elves up there.
Solve global warming.
Anyways, now we're going to go watch The Polar Express, the movie.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after this break that I'll edit right now. We're back after watching The Polar Express. This was made in 2004, and it shows. I know you haven't watched this in years. I don't hate this movie, but every single time I watch it, I like it less and less.
I think I'm pretty comfortable saying I hate this movie. I thought for some reason that this was made in like early 2010s or something. No, it's just
Yeah.
yeah.
So we don't have to like go like too far into it because it does follow the like bare minimum plot the book has. It does, but we can talk about what they add. But the biggest thing is this was the first computer digitally animated, I forget the phrasing, but it's like where they put the little dots on the people's faces and they act out. So all of that's why it's so uncanny valley. The people are horrendous animation, but it's because they used that weird capture system that was not ready in 2004.
No, it's really horrible. I mean, it literally looks like the movie was made in like EA Sports Create a Character.
Yes.
It's awful.
Yes.
For the characters. There's
the people. Again, like the book, the scenery
is okay.
Was fine.
It's not that good though. This is the thing. The book, it was at least nice. This was still too early.
Yes.
Like I love some of those movies from around the time. There's a lot of incredible Pixar stuff coming out at that time.
Yes.
I don't love those movies because they were so high quality, the visual fidelity was so high.
Yeah.
And this movie
Yes.
sucked.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
didn't look good. There was 2 scenes that I did think, and there was the same kind of thing. I did like it, where they do very early. They do like the shot from like almost underneath where the character's looking at.
Yeah.
So like
In the encyclopedia.
Yep.
That was
Encyclopedia.
really cool. So we're behind the words.
Yep. And they do the exact same kind of shot way later when, spoiler alert, when he sees the bell and it's on by his foot. They do the same thing.
Yes.
And you can literally see that like way more budget was put into those shots.
Yes.
Than the rest of it. It was like an anime fight scene where it's like, oh wait, hold on. This is where all the budget went.
Yeah. So I've seen this movie so many times because of my students, but also what I love about the Polar Express is the music. And part of this is because my senior year of band, for our winter concert, the senior band played a Polar Express like suite. So we had like sections of each theme, and as all the seniors had solos, and so I had the hot chocolate solo, and it like I played Barry saxophone my senior year, and it was a really cool moment. and like it's everyone's favorite part of the soundtrack of the score. So like I have like a very deep attachment to the music, specifically.
Yeah.
I could care 2 rats' asses about the actual movie. I don't care about the movie, but the music, and if I listen to the music soundtrack by itself, it will make me tear up. And then when we were watching it, the main theme, the da 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 da, you're like, this sounds like the Elf thing.
It does.
I looked it up. The same guy composed the score for Elf that did this.
It was Elf after this was like
Elf was 2003.
Oh, so this was before. You said
Elf was 1 year before this movie.
Wow.
Well, who knows? Who knows if
Yeah, because the animation at that time must have taken forever.
so he might have made the score for this first.
Double dip. That's like
I know.
You can't plagiarize yourself unless you're a musician, and then you can absolutely should.
I mean, it's not exact, but it's
really
like that.
Okay, Vanilla Ice over here being like, no, mine goes.
Okay,
Okay, sorry.
There's plain fifths is the thing.
I like music, but I know very little about music. Okay.
Anyways, so I will go on record saying that this movie soundtrack is great, but I hate watching this movie because of the uncanny valley. They add a bunch of stuff, and some of it I think works, and a lot of it I think doesn't. I think adding more kid characters that are active roles is a good move, except for that fucking nerd kid whose his name in the credits is literally Know-It-All.
It's
offensive.
It felt ableist.
It did. It does.
And that kid is annoying.
The kid is
but
annoying.
He's written in such a way where it's like, oh my god, you like, come on.
Yes, no, I 100% agree.
Okay.
That the little girl, her singing. Okay,
she's
Billy,
a good character.
She's a good character. Billy, I love Billy so much. When Billy and that girl, who again, she doesn't have a name. I think she's called Hero Girl because the main character is Hero Boy.
Okay.
I know, and then I think she's Hero Girl. I'm pretty sure in the credits I was looking on their Wikipedia, but Billy and Hero Girl, their duet. It makes me tear up every time.
Yeah.
I don't love her animation of all the kids is the most in Uncanny Valley, which honestly I think is a little racist. Because why are all the white kids semi-able? Like, doesn't make me feel gross looking at their face animation. It's
her straight on. It's bad. She's like super glassy eyed.
Yeah.
There was like a 3/4 ankle shot. That's like from the like, offset. I thought she actually looked totally fine.
Yeah, I think they didn't put as much attention to her, which I think is a bit racist and a little sexist.
The other really bad one I thought were the despite the hot chocolate,
the dancing,
the faces on the dancers was really bad.
So again, because I watched this movie so many times in like 20-minute increments with my students, I was never watching the screen that closely. I was just listening to the music and jamming, and also trying to make sure the kids weren't being ridiculous in my room. Right? I was on teacher on duty. I couldn't I couldn't
Calm.
actually watch the TV.
Yeah.
And so watching it now with no distractions, I was like, oh, this is bad. But I do remember seeing that bit in the theater with when the hot chocolate, like the liquid comes out of the cups and into the other ones.
Yeah.
There are some cool cinematic stuff they do. It's just that whenever they put a person in the scene, it ruins it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that for a lot of the scenes. But that song though, it's a jam.
I couldn't get past the animation on the stuff.
I mean, it might be biased because I had a solo, like I just said, and our cats are playing with paper bags. Don't mind that noise because I don't want to edit it out. This movie, also very important, was the first animated movie that was released in mainstream theaters and 3D IMAX, which is why there are like 6 roller coaster scenes.
Yeah.
I think one roller coaster scene, fine.
Yeah.
But they had at least 4.
It got
and it's so redundant.
this movie. How do you happen to know what the runtime is? Because it's
like an hour and a half,
at least 45 minutes too long. I remember, like I was feeling the Christmassy vibes. I wasn't like, I am so excited to watch this movie or anything. I was like, oh,
because again, I roped you into this.
Yeah,
this is not really up to your choice.
But literally, like halfway through, I was like, I really hate this. Like, I just want this to be over.
Yeah, it is.
And that's when they add a lot of the stuff in, which they need to pad it out because
the book there's again no plot, so they have to add stuff. But I think they made the wrong choices. I agree.
There's also this crazy idea of like, what if you adapted a book that was like that had a plot? But anyway, that's getting into
it's the cash grab of it all.
Though I will say, I think I mentioned one of the dumb memes I have liked about the Polar Express movie is when they're on the lake and it's like sliding around. Someone's like, me driving to like pick up a 12-pack in my Mustang on the icy roads or something. It's like, I'm really good at telling the story. But
car corner, there's no cars in this movie.
There's a big train. I think Jenessa thought it was really rude that they made this kid the annoying kid when he was talking about he was the most excited about the train itself.
No, because I don't know shit about trains. I just think watching them is pretty cool.
Yeah, honestly.
And I am pro public transportation. A few things from the earlier part of the movie. Conductor Tom Hanks, hear me out, could get it when he's yelling at the kids.
I think that's some repressed teacher angst.
Anyways, also I noticed that they added a bit. I never caught this before, but like he like shows proof to Hero Kid, our main character, that he's been ignoring Santa, and that's like kind of why he's on it.
So
and that's like kind of like regime-y. It's like you didn't write a letter to Santa, you made your sister deliver it, like all this stuff. You're coming on this train, and I'm like, this is creepy.
Well, that's actually one of the only plot points in the movie, but it's actually it is a big difference from the book.
Yes,
because in the book, Hero Boy does believe in Santa. It's his friends that don't.
So he's proving.
And he's proving. In this one, which honestly, I think they were a little heavy-handed, but I think it makes it more interesting.
It definitely does.
That he's this like, I'm getting too old to believe in Santa. And that's when he goes in the encyclopedia and opens it up, North Pole, barren. And I was like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good choice when they're adapting this, is they need to make us have like some sort of tension, right? Because otherwise it's like a kid on a train. Who cares?
Yeah,
that kid. But so I thought that was good. The ticket punching I really enjoy, just aesthetically the sound and the like, that's nice. That bit where the boy finds the girl's ticket and then ends up losing it and it gets flown out. We see the wolves. Were those wolves lean?
No, they were doing very well.
They're doing very well.
They were a little chunky.
So in this adaptation, the wolves are thriving.
They're thriving, but they're also running like at a cliff, and there wasn't like a good way for them. It was.
If they were going down, this is a steep hill.
Well, was that? I don't know.
It
was a weird.
Yeah, but then
I don't think these rails could support this train going in these crazy up and downs.
Literal roller coaster.
Clearly violating some form of.
OSHA needs to get in here.
Yeah.
But then the ticket like goes past the wolves, and then it's up in the air, and then an eagle comes and gets it. And
they actually used the right eagle call.
This is like a big thing. So for folks who don't know Isaac and I personally, Isaac is a bird guy.
I'm sorry for you. Oh.
Also that. Isaac is what you would call a birder. And a lot of our friends are birders. And one of the biggest bird people facts that they tell people that are not birders is that whenever you hear an eagle sound in a movie, it's probably a red-tailed hawk.
And Jenessa knows this because she's actually from the land of hearing all these eagles, and so
And
this
then-
is a Jenessa known fact.
It's just no fact because I grew up in a world where eagles are a dime a dozen. And they actually use an eagle sound in this movie.
Yeah.
And honestly, gives it a lot of points for that moment.
And they did. I will say all the roller coaster stuff on the train I didn't really like. It was dumb.
Yeah.
But they had some cool little shot that felt very eyewitness. It was like this back mounted.
Yeah.
The back mounted shot, like when you're on the eagle and the eagle's like flying down and like carving around. I was like, okay, this is kind of fun.
That part was fun.
It's not like this movie has no fun scenes.
Yeah, it's a bit messy. They were trying to be very impressive in 2004, and 20 years later, it is too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think about the ghost?
The ghost guy, I came around to the ghost guy. I liked the ghost guy.
I like the ghost guy too. I remember first watching this being scared of him because he kind of gets a little jump scary.
Wow.
Like,
okay.
Well, look,
Socialized.
he comes out of the dark and like is like, ah, kid,
Yeah.
and it scared me. And then the bit with the engineer with the big beard, it's too much. It goes on and on. I think it's fine for a little bit. I do like that he ends up yodeling at a caribou.
Yeah.
And that's fun.
Those characters should get 75% less screen time.
Yes.
And it would have been fun.
Yes. Agree.
But
But yeah, that whole chase sequence, it's just, I know I said in the book that they're not on the train enough, but I think in this movie
they're on the train too
they're
much.
on the train too much. And so I think they need to meet in the middle a bit. I think there's like the stuff they add on the train, they just need to, again, like you just said, edit it down, right? We only need one roller coaster moment. We only need a little bit of the engineer yelling at caribou. We only need one dangerous moment on the tracks,
Yeah.
but we're keeping the full Billy duet because it makes me cry. I really like the North Pole in the movie aesthetically.
Because of the city planning of it all.
The city planning. I want to see the city planning of these engineers. These elves have it down. They have so much like infrastructure for like transportation. Like it's just, and like the whole headquarters, like obviously I'm like not like pro big elf Christmas present because it was like what, but like the technology and the infrastructure of like the train and the cool like that aesthetically cool.
Do you think that I guess it's like a little nation.
Yeah.
Do you think it had cheeses for those Mises?
No cheeses for us Mises. Well, we didn't see any Mises.
What does that imply? Anyway,
Or what are the elves gonna eat? Mises. I don't know. Maybe.
R.I.P. the Mises.
No cheeses.
Muppets Christmas Carol. Please go watch that instead.
Oh, I love that movie. They call it the pneumatic where they get in that little thing and it shoots off.
Yep.
Very fun.
Sucky, very sucky. To quote Will Ferrell from Elf.
Oh yeah. Then we get to Santa and the whole bell stuff, which again takes too long. There's a whole bit where they're in the present thing, and then the elves are carrying it with a blimp. And then the elves like skydive and bungee jump, which honestly, I like that bit. It just takes too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the bell bit takes too long. Like he doesn't hear the bells for too long. We get it.
It's
a big moment.
Yeah.
It's the climax of the movie. I do like how they foreshadowed the hole in his pocket the whole time. Like we see it get ripped in the beginning.
Yeah.
The conductor says, "Put it in your safe place, the other pocket for the ticket."
Yeah.
Like, so it's a theme throughout the whole movie, which I think that's a smart change from, again, an issue I had in the book is like,
Yeah.
it's barely a thing.
Yeah. I just think it just came to me. I think the form of this should have been, in like old Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network episodes, like you'd have one time slot for a show, and it would have 2 different like 15-minute or like 12-minute self-contained stories. That's what this movie should have been.
Yeah, it should have been like a 45-minute. This movie should have been cut in half.
I'm saying it could have been done in 15 minutes, but maybe not. Maybe if you need your duet,
we need the songs.
It needs to be
it's a musical.
Yeah,
a musicale.
Okay,
the Tom Hanks of it all. What do you think?
I didn't like it for most of it while I was watching, and then I was like, you know what? It's kind of fun to be like, this is an old man looking back on his memories and kind of like narrating each part of it. And so I think I kind of came around to it at the end, actually.
Yeah.
It was definitely a little jarring at times, but then I was like, okay, you know what? No, I think I like this.
Yeah. I like Tom Hanks, and I like that he's like the main 3 characters that the main character interacts with.
You have already said that conductor Tom Hanks can get it.
Hear me out. But I feel like Tom Hanks needed to change his voice per each character a bit more.
Yeah.
Like every time he kind of laughed, you had that Tom Hanks nasality that he has, which like
I think there needed to be more narration actually in it. A little
I
more.
think so too.
Because if there was, I think, like I said, I had that whole like, to really go off what you were saying, yeah, all his characters sounded very similar, and it was really just like, come on. And I was like, oh, hold on, no, this makes sense as this like he's narrating his own story, Mm-hmm. But I think having him interspersed more as a narrator would have helped tie that like it's a storybook together a little bit more.
I definitely agree. I do like at the end when they get back onto the train, they all get a lesson.
Oh yeah,
tapped into their ticket. I also love that Billy gets his present because every time he gets home and he sees a present at home and he's so excited to share his new friends, it makes me tear up.
See, but Santa had abandoned him until this point, so this is Santa apology.
And no, I grew up not believing in Santa just because my parents decided that was not what they wanted to do. And honestly, as an adult, I respect that.
Yeah.
But I also am someone who loves the quote spirit of Christmas.
Yeah.
And so it's a really like weird place to be, right? Where I like love like the cheesiness of stuff, and I love dumb movies like this. But also like Santa as a concept is really flawed, and honestly, like is he only helping the good kids, or is he helping all kids? Oh yeah. Right? You know what I mean? It runs
into like just world issues. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that, so I have issues with that, but what I like about this is that we do like it brings some of that like, hey, what about kids like Billy, you know?
Yeah.
And I do like that. I do wish that our main kid's lesson is less about him believing in Santa and him about like injustices.
Yeah.
But also obviously they're not going to do that because this is like that's not their goal. But I don't know.
Speaking of injustice, this kid, the main character, looks like an 80-year-old senator who would have voted in favor of segregation.
Okay.
But like aged down.
Yes. So there are 3 different people were involved in the character Hero Boy. His face is modeled off of Tom Hanks.
Interesting.
And then Daryl, not his last name, Trainer, but he's married to Megan Trainer. He was the brother in Spy Kids.
Hell yeah.
Plays his voice.
Never mind, back in.
Plays his voice for most of it. And Josh Hutcherson was like the acting model.
Yeah.
You know who Josh Hutcherson was? PETA.
Oh, yeah.
I love Josh Hutcherson. Anyways, he was like the like kid model.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like 3 different people went into playing this. And I think they complicated
motion capture. Is that what we
motion capture.
Okay. Good job, us. We got it.
We got there. I could have
there.
looked it up, but I couldn't be bothered.
Couldn't be asked.
I couldn't be asked. I just watched this goddamn movie for fun. For you listeners.
I'm owed compensation for this one, I feel like.
Hey, I got you tweets.
It's true. Butter cookies are
I got you butter cookies for this. Anyways, I think they overcomplicated this with all the motion capture stuff. Like, I understand this is like the edge of technology. I'm pretty sure this is DreamWorks, and I think DreamWorks is like, hey, Pixar and Disney are doing a lot of crazy stuff, or maybe it's Universal Pictures.
When did Madagascar come out?
Madagascar is not motion capture.
No, but it's much better and it's 3D animated.
Anyways, I think they're overcomplicating stuff too much. As far as the motion capturing. What?
Madagascar came out in 2005.
Okay.
And I will happily go watch that 55% on Rotten Tomatoes movie again.
When I one day start our Patreon and we have our non-adaptation film movie club things, which I want it to be a perk, we can watch Madagascar for the Patreon that does not exist yet.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Cool. All right. Fun facts. This film was listed in the 2006 Guinness Book of World Records as the first all-digital capture film where all acted parts were done in digital capture. This is Warner Bros. First computer animated film.
Okay.
So that's why they're like trying to like catch up to like Disney and
there's a
DreamWorks.
there's a few tiers ahead of them there.
Yes. Why these fun facts aren't fun, you would never guess.
Oh, I just gotta say, I don't think they could make this movie today because at the end, one, because technology is much better, but at the end, Tom Hanks says "Merry Christmas." He shouts it, and you can't do that anymore because of woke.
I think they'd happily make this now. This is the first feature-length film to be released both on 35mm and IMAX 3D. I kind of already said that, but a lot of the fun facts are about trains. And
You know what? Some of the train shots are pretty good.
Yeah, the whistle on the Polar Express was recorded off a steam locomotive Sierra Railway 3, a 19th century steam locomotive that runs excursion trains at Railtown, 1897 State Historic Park in Jamestown, California. How about that fun train fact?
Pretty fun train fact.
Thank you.
Pretty not caring about the environment though, being a coal powered train. What's going with that?
Here's a fun fact. Although rated G, this film is not available under kids profiles on either Max or Hulu.
Interesting.
Anyways,
Because they don't want their kids going on strangers' trains, or
maybe.
Interesting. I don't
know. I think this movie is not good. I think the soundtrack slaps. I think I could edit this movie down and make it 10 times better, but the animation still is gross on the people specifically.
I just think it's not a worthy story of like it's a fun. There's nothing wrong with having a book for kids that's like a nice picture book that feels cozy and has nice illustrations.
And it was a successful book.
I think
right?
I think the other thing that was rough is we just watched, what was it, the Shaun the Sheep Christmas special thing?
Yeah.
And it was incredible.
It was incredible, yeah.
And then going from that to this was like, okay.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, legitimately, I mean, okay, so it's like a kid's Christmas movie. So it's not like, it's a different category to judge.
Yes.
But it's definitely one of the worst movies I've seen in a long time.
I mean, I did just watch a bunch of Netflix Christmas movies, so this is not the worst Christmas movie I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, was that Hot Frosty?
Hot Frosty was so bad, guys. So fun, so bad. But the question is, Isaac, is this a good adaptation?
Yeah.
It's a good adaptation?
I think so. Nothing really happened in the book. Nothing really happened in the movie.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think something where it's not a good adaptation, just like spiritually, is the vibe isn't cozy.
The vibe isn't cozy enough. I agree.
Which is the final scenes, like the getting off the train and saying goodbye, and when the train comes,
yeah,
and like the Christmas morning, those all hit the vibe.
Yes,
but a lot of the stuff in the middle was like.
I feel like the book is so cozy in a muted way.
Yeah, it's like the snow just fell outside.
Where this movie, and it's like really quiet.
This is going sledding.
And this movie is like Monster Energy brought you their version. It's just like overstimulation. you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's where they missed the vibe. I think it's a fine adaptation. You know, they adapt it, they add to it. The choices in general make sense. They just did it the wrong way. You know?
Yeah.
Because like the motion capture choice is the biggest flaw, I think, for me. Then if it was like normal animation, I think I could forgive a lot of the like plot bits and the things that go too long.
Yeah. I think if it was like, I mean, obviously it would be also very expensive and a ton of work, but like hand animated.
Yeah.
Great.
Would have been way better. But yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you, Isaac, for joining me for the Christmas special.
You're welcome. And it, you know, was a little bit of a humbug on this one. Sorry, but it wasn't the.
Yeah.
Maybe next Christmas we'll do a more better.
Next Christmas we'll do a more better book movie pairing.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good.
We'll plan further in advance so we have more time. Thank you guys for listening to this Christmas special. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. And make sure you're following us on Instagram at Read the Book First Podcast. I'll be announcing the second half of season 3's lineup soon on there. So check that out. Share the podcast with your friends. And remember, read the book first.